Been a really busy day in the Premier League. 7 games played in all. The early kick-off at the G-Tech, Mo Salah returning from injury with a goal and an assist for Liverpool in that win at Brentford. A mixed day for the visitors. Jota, Jones and Darwin Núñez picking up injuries. Arsenal following up that 6-0 thrashing of West Ham with a 5-0 win over Burnley. Saka getting 2. Villa boosting their top 4 hopes with a win at Fulham. Newcastle rescuing a point against Bournemouth, with Matt Ritchie getting the equaliser against his former club in injury time. Forest picking up a first win in 5 at home to West Ham to add more pressure on David Moyes. João Gomez scoring twice for Wolves in an impressive win at Spurs, and at the Etihad it finishes 1 apiece. 2 games on Sunday. Sheffield United against Brighton. Luton take on Manchester United, looking for a 5th straight win in all competitions. On Monday it's Everton Palace. Tuesday City back in action, this time at home to Brentford. And on Wednesday it's Liverpool Luton. A case of what might have been then for Manchester City after that draw today. So they are third, 53 points, 4 points off top spot, but they still have that game in hand on the league leaders. Liverpool, who have 57, Arsenal in second, 2 points behind Jurgen Klopp's side. Villa into the top 4. Spurs are 5th, 6 points ahead of Manchester United, who play on Sunday. Newcastle is 7th on 37, 10 points off a European place. West Ham, Brighton and then Chelsea make the top half. Burnley, the only side of the bottom 5 to have played so far, they remain on 13 points, 7 adrift of safety. Forest's big win sees them move up to 15th, 24 points, with a 5-point cushion on the bottom 3. Brentford have a 6-point cushion. Then you've got Fulham in 12th and Wolves on the verge of the top 10.
Well, Connor, well played. I was trying to read your body language at full time, and then when you walked into the room here, pleased with a point against a team that good, or slightly disappointed having led for so long?
Yeah, no, you're right. I think slightly disappointed, but...
Bit of both?
Yeah, a bit of both, yeah, because obviously we're winning the game. Obviously they were, you know, in terms of possession, they were dominating the game, but I felt like we had a lot of chances to win the game. So defended really well. But yeah, we're disappointed to concede quite late, but you know, a point is a good point.
They did dominate in terms of possession, but certainly first half. Did you feel like you were a massive threat?
Yeah, we had quite a lot of chances. I feel we counted them well. So yeah, I think it's a fair result in the end.
I mean, you pushed and pushed. If there's one regret, is it not making 1 goal, 2, and perhaps killing the game? Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I think we had a chance or 2 to get the second, but obviously we didn't. But then again, they had chances as well, and you know the game could have gone either way, I think. But like I said, I think we'll take the point. I think it was a good performance.
You did walk into the room and say, "I'm exhausted." I mean, how hard did you have to work second half?
Really hard. I felt like the lads were brilliant. Defensively, we were very, very focused. I think you could tell we were very tired in the last bits of the game. But you know, we saw it through, and yeah, I think we're happy with that performance.
More than the point, what does the performance do for you? Coming here, playing well, you've obviously got a cup final next week. Does it give you some real momentum?
Yeah, it does, yeah. I feel like the lads are confident. You know, we've had a few good performances. And obviously against the top team tonight, you know, I feel like we're going into the next game with a lot of confidence, and yeah, we're excited for it.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Well played.
Cheers.
Cheers, Connor.
Conor Gallagher smiling at the end, but not quite sure whether he was pleased at getting a point against Manchester City or whether disappointed that they conceded late on in a game in which they led for a long time. In terms of the title race, given that this is Manchester City's time in the season, we made a lot of the fact that they normally go on that huge winning run at this stage. How significant is it that they've dropped points at home today?
I think it is more for Liverpool and Arsenal to give them belief that, you know, this City team can drop points. I don't think it's the end of the world for Manchester City today. There's still so long to go as well, and I think you've just got to, all 3 teams who are going for the title, they've got to just get to that March international break, make sure they're still in a great position, and then the running, who knows when the running starts. People say, you know, now, or, you know, after the international break, or March and April is when it really hurts you. I think a lot more when you drop points. But I think tonight is not really about City. I think it's about the other 2 teams thinking, OK, you know, we could be in this right to the end.
Will they look at the way that Chelsea played, given that City still have to play Arsenal here at the Etihad and Liverpool at Anfield? Will they look at the way that Chelsea set up and think, we've got opportunities here. This is not an invincible City side.
I mean, I don't think they just copy them. I mean, I think both teams will fancy them chances against City because they're good teams, but I don't think it's ever been a secret how to play against City. It's just difficult to stop them because they're so good. And it's always force the ball wide, make them cross. It's always been about getting numbers in the centre of the pitch. Don't let them sort of penetrate, between the thirds, get the ball between the lines into Kevin De Bruyne. So, as I said, lots of teams try and do that, force them wide, but more often than not, it's difficult to stop. And to be fair, they probably had a little bit of luck towards the end of the game, Chelsea, with the chances that Haaland missed, because I think we saw the real City there in the last half an hour of the game when they start getting to sort of the byline and putting crosses in, pulling the ball back, which makes it so difficult for the defenders.
Yeah, we'll look at some of those chances for Erling Haaland a bit later on, but let's look at a couple of the goals that did go in. Starting with Raheem Sterling, what way that he took this one, Daniel?
Took it brilliantly, and, the manipulation and the combination, that Palmer and Jackson had, it was a great ball across. And for me, it's how he's manipulated the ball in the box. Because his first touch, of course, almost as if it was underneath his feet, but he's chopped it back onto his right, and the finish was devastating. It was precise. Of course, like Mike said earlier on, defensively, maybe Watts could have done slightly better.
Yeah, I just think Callum's been in this position as well. When he played fullback there, he just almost overcompensates a little bit. If he slows down, shows Sterling onto his left foot, slows down roundabout now, it gives Ederson a better chance to save that. But Daniel's right, it was good skill, cut back, and a great finish, the composure to finish it off. It was class, and it topped off by a really good performance by Sterling.
Yeah, it was a performance that seems to have been coming in bits and pieces from Chelsea throughout this season, but they managed it over the 90 minutes.
Yeah, I think what I've been most impressed with Chelsea this season, maybe it's just the games I've been at, but it's felt like it's been against the better opposition. So I'll go back to the start of the season. The first game against Liverpool, they dominated that game. I remember Arsenal going to Stamford Bridge and probably being quite fortunate to come away with the points. The game between these two at Stamford Bridge also, they got a good result away at Tottenham. So I think Pochettino, when he's come up against top managers and how he's set his team up and how he's gone about nullifying them and causing the opposition problems, I think he's come out of those games pretty well.
You know what I say about that, Cara, as well, is when you... Such a young squad, Chelsea, and I think when they're coming up against the best teams, psychologically it's like we're going out there showing we're on that level. Like, of course, every game you want to do that. Consistency is what makes a team win the title, but in a young team with so many players who are the same mentality of like, yo, we're good enough, we can do this. And I think that's why Cara's saying about against the bigger teams, they seem to perform better consistently. They've had good results in those games.
I just think as well, when Chelsea have got the ball, we think of Chelsea of old being dominant and all that, but there's nothing wrong with being a counter-attacking team. They look at their best when they keep their shape and then they explode with pace on that counter-attack with Jackson, Sterling, Cole Palmer coming into little pockets and then Gallagher running in behind. I just think there's no harm in that. It suits them well and it worked for them today.
It did work for them today, up to a point. There was a difference in opinion between you two at half-time as to how Chelsea should approach the second half. Probably the difference of an opinion between a striker and a defender, where you were saying, protect the lead, and you were like, no, what you're doing is working, and keep doing it. They did make the change at 70 minutes. Did it work?
Well, they went to a five at the back. I wouldn't say they want to protect the lead. I think just subconsciously, as a defender, that's what you want to do. We've been in that position and you just want to save what you have. It was always going to be difficult because Man City was going to dominate the ball and they was getting joy from their counter-attacks and playing through the third. So it was always going to be difficult, but City was always going to turn it up in that second half.
It's like things are going nice. Counter-attacks, chops and changes, combinations, all type of things. I'm thinking, as the attacker, we can get more chances. And I think they didn't have a shot after 70 minutes. They've gone to five at the back, they've not had a shot. So they were so threatening, even in the second half, with Jackson still doing his thing, whatever. And the two most threatening players came off the pitch.
Yeah, but the only thing...
Well, sorry, Jackson, I think
City had 71% of the ball.
But possession...
So if you get your team further up, then there becomes more gaps for the likes of Foden and De Bruyne to get in them pockets to create more chances. I understand what you're saying is they should go for it and try, because that's what they did in the first half, and it worked for them. But you know what it's like as a player. When City are on the ball, it tire you out.
They do.
I'd probably, in commentary, I saw that, and I think it's very difficult as a manager. When you're winning and you make a defensive change, you're leaving yourself open to, and if you don't go on to win the game, people sort of have a go at you. But I could get where Pochettino was coming from, and I don't think it was a case of, right, we're defending now. I just think the way the game was going was City were getting that ball wide to Doku, he was getting time and space, De Bruyne was getting more space, there was more crosses coming into the box. And I always think I always like teams playing against City with a back five, unless you're a real top side and you think you can go up against them. Because when they've got that front five, I think it's difficult to stop with the back four. And I just think Pochettino's probably looking at that and thinking, Doku's starting to get into the byline, De Bruyne's getting to the byline. We need to try and nullify that to try and keep our lead and stay in the game.
Yeah. It's Manchester City 0, Chelsea 1 at half-time. The goal scorer, Raheem Sterling, against his old club. Daniel, what did you make of the goal?
I mean, it was a really nice worked goal. You see the combination play of Nicholas Jackson, and he's been a threat all game. And the pace of Sterling here, the pass is really nice. And you see Raz, he kind of but the chop and the whip ski. And to have the ability to be able to do that, of course, the conditions today, it's really wet. But Chelsea down that right-hand side have had a lot of joy. And it was a similar chance what Nicholas Jackson had earlier on. But Raheem's managed to manipulate the ball, and the finish was brilliant.
Yeah, I just want to talk about Kyle Walker. He's played in that position. He does really well to try cover. He gets over to a good position. If he just slows down now, he doesn't stop down, which allows Sterling to come back inside and get that goal. But if you just see on this angle, he's still running. If he would have slowed himself down a little bit more, he probably could get him on his weaker foot, and it gives the keeper a better chance.
Yeah, but it's been coming, this goal from Chelsea, or it's kind of been coming in the fact that Chelsea haven't been able to finish their chances off, not just in this game, but across the season.
Exactly that. I've highlighted Alvarez here because obviously an offensive player playing a little bit deeper. And I just think it's the worst of Man City and it is the worst of Chelsea. Man City staying really high and not really dealing with the threat in behind, and then Chelsea getting into these positions and not capitalising on them, Daniel.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, what you got to see here is the run of Jackson. It's almost like he's running so fast. Obviously, Gusto's touch wasn't as good to kind of get him in a position. I mean, even we talk about this chance here as well. And it's just those simple passes where, you know, if he plays that ball right, he's in clean through on goal. And you've got to be lethal, you've got to be ruthless in front of goal, with your combinations, with your first touches, with the timing of the runs. Because against a team like Manchester City, if you don't take your chances when they come, you're going to be punished.
I just feel like as well, from a defensive point of view for Man City, they're more reactive than proactive. We know what Chelsea are going to do. I said before the game, counter-attacks, that's when they're at best. But with their position, they're always sort of anticipating. You've got to get back. As soon as he gets his head down, run back, because the pace of Sterling is going to hurt you.
45 minutes, Manchester City are trailing at home to Chelsea. It's the first time City are trailing at home in the Premier League at the Etihad for 13 months. As it happens, Raheem Sterling, a former City player, has got the all-important goal, Sean.
Yeah, that's something that normally happens anyway, but there was obviously a shout for handball there. Kevin miscontrols it there, and then Chelsea capitalise. Cole Palmer plays Jackson in, and Jackson sees the pass and plays it, catches Walker off guard. And Walker's got to keep him on his left foot, but Sterling does great to get back on his right, and it's an incredible finish.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting down that side, aren't they? Down that right side all the time. But this is a great run. I don't know why Walker went across there in the first place, but Sean's right. Just got to keep him going on his left. Back your goalkeeper on the angle that he's going to have to score from there. Back your keeper. Don't let him come inside. But it's a brilliant bit of skill, and he gets enough pace and a whip on it to put it in that bottom corner, and Chelsea have deserved it.
And I just wonder, is that a reaction to do with the way Kyle Walker was undone by Sterling? I mean, these are two players who know each other's game really well. They've trained against each other, Sean.
Yeah, Cole Palmer will be hitting himself for that one. Not Cole
Walker.
Cole Walker will be hitting himself for that one, sorry. But it does happen. You can see because he goes in too far. I feel like when he's trying to make up for the initial mistake of going across, maybe that he didn't have to, he's put all of his speed in going there, and it's almost like he's kind of forgot that this is Sterling. Sterling's not really going to take it on his left foot. He's going to come back.
Yeah.
And he's just gone full tilt. And when you're full tilt as a defender, I find it seems harder for them to stop than, say, an attacker would be able to stop at full tilt. And that's what happens. He's gone past it. Sterling seen him coming and played straight into Sterling's hands. He was able to cut back and whip it around the corner.
City did have a warning before then, and through Jackson.
Yes, it was, yeah. And again, it's Palmer. Palmer with a lovely little ball down that side, down that left side for City. And the first time ball there, well, it should have gone earlier, but I don't know why he's not hit it first time. Why on earth has he not put this in? This is the lack of confidence that Jackson's got in front of goal, needing the touch. When you're playing well and confident scoring goals as a striker, that's a first-time strike, bang, it's in the back of the net. He's thinking too much. He had a lot of time to think about that, and it was an awful effort.
It's one of those, when he seems to go through, I never feel comfortable around it. But Glenn, this is the part that you highlighted.
I think the shape that Chelsea have been brilliant in, the shape that the back four is in a really awkward position there to get any ball in behind, yet they can press. You see Colwell coming in there and Haaland not allowing him to turn, and that's where City, they love to get in the little pockets, right, and get people turned on the ball, and then they're a problem. Well, this is all about nullifying that. The shape, look, the highest player for Chelsea and the deepest player in the back four, there's only 19, 20 yards between them. Again, time and time again, they're shutting all that space down. So that ball, the only ball they've really got is from a distance, is the one over the top. And Pep doesn't like City players doing that, particularly centre-backs. You know, and that's what they've done. They've said, well, we've got to force you to play that type of ball. Yes, of course, if De Bruyne's on it, that might actually come off. But there, they give the ball away. And
it needs to be inch perfect.
Exactly, and it's been brilliant. Pochettino's got the shape and the framework really spot on today.
So the game plan so far belongs to Mauricio Pochettino. City have had one or two chances. Haaland with that early opportunity. I mean, is this one you expected him to put away, Sean?
At least hit the target for me. A man of his quality. It's a great ball in from Alvarez, and he's up high. And it's like he can't get over it enough. Considering how high he is, he doesn't really get